The purpose of this video is to demonstrate a very simple concept in finance, which is comparing accumulated returns on a stock. And the way we do this is we think about investing a particular sum, and it could be $1, 100, 1,000. You'll see many different applications here. I'm just going to start with $1 and say, well, if we invested this dollar at the beginning, what do we end up with at the end? And it's a way we can compare stocks, because stocks have different pricing because of the way the corporations issue different number of shares of outstanding. So it's really, you can't compare one price to another of a stock, but you can compare accumulated returns of stocks. So that's what we're going to do here. What I've got is an example where I've got 12 months of returns on Apple and Tesla stock. And what I'm going to do is set up a basic horse race. That is, if you invested $1 at the beginning of January of 2018, what would you have ended up with at the end of 2018 for each stock? So I'm going to create a column, value of, and I'm just going to use $1 as the starting value. And I'm going to do the same thing for Tesla. All right. So now what we do is we're going to start, and the very first cell is going to be different than the rest. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with $1. So it's going to be $1 multiplied by 1 plus the return for the month. Now, of course, I didn't have to say 1 times, but if you want to do 100 or 1,000, you would put that value in here. So this shows you that after 1 month, you ended up with 99 cents. Now I'm going to go ahead and expand this just a little bit so you can look at more digits. And I'm using the currency format because that's what we use to represent the dollars and cents. Now, the next cell is going to be just a little bit different. So we're not starting with $1, we're starting with whatever was in E5. So what we do is we say, okay, we start with whatever's in E5, and then we multiply it by 1 plus the return on Apple stock for that month, the month of February. And again, I'm going to increase the digits just a little bit. So now we've got the first 2 cells, and I'm going to double click the little green box here to carry this down for the rest of the year. So now I've got this done for Apple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight this and then drag it over to do it for Tesla. So what we've got here is we start with $1 invested in Apple. We end up with almost 95 cents at the end. If we start with $1 invested in Tesla at the beginning of January, we end up with $1 and almost 7 cents at the end of 2018. And this is what we typically see graphed if we compare the two. And we're starting out with $1 for each of these, but we're ending up with different values. Now, often on financial sites, you'll have it start with $1 at the beginning, which is, we did start with $1, but we are plotting what happens after the first month, second month, and so forth. And that's why they don't join here on the left-hand side. But this is the basic idea of how to run a horse race in comparing different stocks.